let's talk about console input. So we're going to start with our basic setup in main, and we need to take in input. So what I mean by console input is the user will be able to type in the input as it is prompted in the command prompt. So first we want some places to put our data. So let's do int age string. Let's ignore strings for now because they're a little bit different and you kind of have to do a little bit different processing. Int I don't know, weight. I guess I probably shouldn't ask someone about their weight, but if it's yourself, who cares? And then let's do char first name letter, and let's also do char last name letter. Okay, so we have some places to put our data. And now we have to grab it. So the way you usually want to prompt a user is by outputting something to the terminal and then asking them for some piece of information. So we're going to do cout. What is your age? And I like to type your age here. I usually like to do something like that, but let's just keep it as questions. What is your age? And then endline, ENDL, is pretty much just a way to get you onto the next line when you're in input. A lot of times you don't actually want to do endline on your prompt. You want to do it after in a way. So then we're going to do cin. And it's a little bit reverse. So for cout, you use these double carets to point to how you want to output something. How I think about it is you're going to write this to the console, and then for your input, you're going to take input from the console to your variable. So that's kind of how you remember whether you do left carets or right carets. And then here is actually where I usually output an endline. And then move on. But you can also just smash all this together just by adding more carets. And I'm going to say, what is your weight? And we're going to just repeat this process for all of this. So I'm going to just speed it up and you guys can pause and catch up when you're ready. Okay, so we have all of that. As always, we need a return. We'll get more into returns as we talk more about functions later on, but we need a return here. And pretty much what this should do is take all the input here, and then usually you want to do something with your input. You don't want to just collect a bunch of data and do nothing with it. So we're going to do a bunch of couts, and we're going to, actually, we'll just do one big cout. So what I like to do is, let's go with first name letter, which is kind of a bad variable name. Last name letter. Put a colon in here. Is age. Years old. And so I didn't talk about this in the previous video, but usually you only want to go out to the 80th column space. So what I'm going to do here is, we talked about white space doesn't really matter. So actually it doesn't even know the difference. As long as we don't put the semicolon here, it'll just keep going. So, and I like to sometimes format this so it lines up. It just makes it look a little bit better in my opinion, and it seems to work a little bit better. And is weight. this heavy. Maybe not the best prompt ever, but you know what? It gets the job done at the end of the day. And we probably should also grab our first initial or last initial here. So sorry about that if you freaked out because I didn't do that. My bad. And we're also going to just put an end line here because we got some input before, so there's most likely going to be some conflicts with that. And we should have something like this. So now if I go, as we go to compile this, main.exe, example, not extra, oh, I have to get cd into our input folder. Now I can do this. And then example. Okay. Now run. What is your age? 23. What is your weight? 180 pounds. Is your first initial N. Your last initial B. NB is 23 years old and is 180 pounds. Wow, this heavy. Is 180 this heavy. Well, we can work on that. The biggest thing I find with input and output is it's kind of a trial and error method, unless you really know what you're doing. Because in this case, I'd probably want a space after all of these. So if I was to do this again, I'd throw in a space at the end of these, and I would say is 180 pounds heavy. So now, if I rerun through this, main.exe, what is your age? 23. See how we get a little bit of spacing here? What is your weight? 180. And I'm American, so we use pounds. If you're not American, kg is fine. You can always change it. It's for you. So NB is 23 years old and is 180 pounds heavy. Cool. So that's kind of wraps up the input section, and we'll get into more intense or more strenuous input later on. But this should allow you to be able to manipulate and take input and output it.